דנה, תגידי ברזרבה.
מיכל ל-MC ואני פה לעניינים טכניים. מה אני קורא לזה?
for coming. I'm Michal Kabatsnik, Director of Tom to Cornell Makers. Thank you all for joining us for the final event and demo day of the Tom and Cornell Makeathon and Hackathon. For the last 3 days, our teams have been working around the clock, quite literally, to create solutions to different challenges facing people living with disabilities here in the community. We have participants of all ages, backgrounds, and skill sets who have spent the weekend with us and given up their time to do good. At Tom, we believe in nothing about us without us. We've had need knowers that have shared their experiences and challenges with us and have been working with the teams to create the best solutions possible over the last 3 days. Today, you will get to see our teams showcase their incredible work, you'll hear from some of our dedicated supporters, and most importantly, you will get a small taste of what we've been experiencing for the last 3 days at the Makeathon and Hackathon. Since Tom began in Israel just under 3 years ago, we have been lucky to launch communities in 19 locations around the world. This is our 21st Makeathon and our first time in New York City, which has been a goal of ours for quite a while. We've had the honor of the support of the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities throughout our process. It's my honor to invite Victor Calisi, the Commissioner of the Mayor's Office for Disabilities, to say a few words.
God, I love accessibility. Great stuff. Hopefully I don't fall off the stage. It was a joke. You're supposed to laugh. Thank you, everyone, for having me here today. It's a wonderful day. Tom, congratulations on coming to New York. I was just recently in Israel and seeing all the great things that they're doing for accessibility, especially in technology, and Tom is leading the way in that. It's great. Cornell, excellent in putting this all together and teaming up with Todd, the makers, the need knowers, the hackers. Excellent job. I mean, the need knowers is important to me because it's making sure that people with disabilities are involved in the conversation. And the Mayor's Office with People with Disabilities and under Mayor de Blasio, people with disabilities are considered in every step of the way because of our office and all the work that we are doing. We are working to make New York City the most accessible city in the world. People often laugh at me when I say that, but I want New York City to be the leader. And we are tackling 4 areas that are most important for people with disabilities. Number 1 is transportation. How do we improve the existing transportation system that exists around the city so we can get people with disabilities around the city in a more efficient way? And I know that people with disabilities would certainly agree with me on that. And then secondly is when we're looking at employment. People with disabilities are generally unemployed or underemployed. And having people have jobs is important because we often live in poverty. Secondly is thirdly is how do we make sure that kids with disabilities are transitioned from middle school, from actually universal pre-K, the Mayor's signature program, all the way up through high school and into the workplace or into college. And we want to make sure that they have all the right services that are there. And then and our last bucket is access to city government, access to the built environment, and access to events like this today. So I want to thank everyone for having me here. We're excited to see everything that's going to be displayed, and let's go, Tom.
Thank you so much, Commissioner, for your inspiration and support. We're also honored to be joined today by our esteemed judging panel. I'm going to introduce you all now. Michael Dubno, Wall Street technology escapee, inventor, and maker extraordinaire. Victor Calisi, who you just met, Commissioner of the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities. Dr. Suzanne Greene, Professor of Disability Studies and the Director of the K. Lisa Yang and Hawk E. Tam Institute on Employment and Disability at Cornell University and the Labor Relations School. One more round of applause for all of our judges. Oh, and Dan Devner, who's on my right. Apologies. Additionally. share a few words with us.
I love stairs. That's a joke. That's a good one. I like it. It's okay. So I'd like to thank everyone. You know, this is a pretty big crowd. This is a Sunday. Obviously, a lot of people spent the last couple of days, and in fact, even before that, working on their projects, getting to know each other, working together as a team, and that's phenomenal. So I think, first of all, a round of applause for everyone who did work today. Obviously, it's an honor to be here to actually lead our judgment panel. I think is perhaps one of the hardest things. I find it much easier to make things than I find it is to judge other people's work. Everything that we're going to do in the judging today, so far from what we've seen, there's not a single thing that wasn't worthwhile. So again, a round of applause for everyone. I've been a maker my entire life. I actually built an amplifier from scratch when I was about 7 or 8 years old. It didn't work very well, but I made it. Just last week, through a matter of coincidence, somebody who used to work for me contacted me. He had a 17-year-old son who was wheelchair bound. They had a wheelchair that was an electric wheelchair, and unfortunately his child cannot actually operate the electric wheelchair, so he had the controls moved to the back of it. It was just a coincidence. So we spent last Sunday actually building a new mount and making the wheelchair actually work much better for him and his family. So I have a fairly good appreciation of what went on today at a micro level. But one of the things that I think is most important about Tom is Tom takes that one little action from last week and figures out how to scale it, right? So everyone here is there to scale, to actually help every single person that they possibly can in their community, and then to take every single design that comes out of the effort that happened today, and in fact at other Tom events, and figure out how to put that on the web to allow other people to benefit from that. That is an incredibly noble and wonderful thing, right, that is going on here today, right? The maker community basically is obsessed with making crap. Little 3D turtles that you 3D print, and there's a lot of that. I know that's what my 3D printer printed, a lot of elephants as well. They're really, really nice. But when you suddenly work with someone, I'm not going to say you did it for someone, when you work with someone, right, and you actually form a community that makes it so they can get up out of a wheelchair and do something, or just stand up when standing up is difficult, and they become empowered to do great things for others and for themselves, that is the noblest of callings. Tom brings a heart and soul to the maker community that no other organization has ever even come close to doing. So I'd like to just appreciate Tom for all of that. One of the other things that I find fascinating about Tom is all too frequently there's an us versus them type of difference between people who have some form of need and people who do not. And there's a reticence for those communities to actually come together and see that you're actually all people, all actually add value to the world. And another wonderful thing that I've seen at Tom is that those barriers just don't exist. Us and them just turn into us. So again, I'd like to thank everybody for spending their time doing what they did. Obviously, from the awards, we're going to give out some awards. Not everyone's going to win, but again, everyone, in my mind, has already won. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Mike. And now we get to the good part, our team presentations. Each team worked with on a specific challenge with a need knower. Our need knowers are at the center of all that we do. They are those who have the deepest personal and professional understanding of the challenges and what solutions would work best. Each team will give you a brief 4-minute presentation. Teams, In the interest of staying on schedule, we're going to be very strict with the 4 minutes. Please stay within your time limit. We have Tashar here in the front row. He will be our timekeeper. Tashar will be giving you a 1-minute warning and letting you know when your time is up. So please stay in your time. I'd like to invite up Team 2. Team 2, Adaptive Tech for Weight Machines. Most weight machines are designed for able-bodied users. A 27-year-old Nino was born with hypoxia encephalopathy, and his entire right side is affected, making weightlifting machines difficult to use.
Hi everyone, my name is Matthew Russo. We're Team Jacked, and I'm going to let Nij, or Nignover, come up and tell you a little bit more about his problem that he came to us with.
How's it going, everyone? So, my name is Nij. I was born with mild CP. So basically, the left side of my body is perfectly fine, but the right side of my body was affected at birth. So I like to go to the gym a lot, and something that I've struggled with is having the same range of motion on this hand as I have on my left side. And part of that has to do with 2 things. So the grip, obviously in my left hand, is going to be stronger than it is in my right hand. So that's one aspect of this. And then the most important thing is the actual range of motion within the right arm. As you can see, my left arm will extend out, whereas the right arm kind of doesn't. So I'll let the team explain what we did, and they'll be able to tell you.
Yeah, so we created 2 assistive devices to help with this problem. The first one was the glove, which we called the Iron Fist. And essentially it serves 2 purposes. The first one is that it provides stability on the back of the wrist, because when exercising, you don't want your wrist to bend backwards because that can lead to injury. The second piece that it has is it has a nylon strap with Velcro on the end. And what that does is that allows Nij to grab a dumbbell or a barbell with his hand and then to lock it in place with the Velcro strap. What this does is it allows him to use much heavier weights than he would normally be able to, and furthermore, he doesn't have to worry about potentially dropping the weight because it's going to stay locked in place. So we did a little test demo over here. This data was obtained using these Myo bracelets, which take electrical EMG readings from the muscles in your arm and then print them out. So what we found was that without the assistive device, he got power ranges in the range of -25 to 25 EMGs on average, whereas with the assistive device, it doubled basically to -50 to 50. So essentially, without even increasing the weight, he was able to get more muscle activity just from using that device. Additionally, and this is actually possibly more important, if you look at the graph, you can see that the middle range starts to taper off as it goes towards the end, towards higher repetitions. What this means is that he's actually fatiguing his muscle. He's getting it tired. That means that from a physical therapy standpoint, that's huge. He's breaking down his muscle so that it's going to be rebuilt later and it's going to become stronger. And one of the things he came to us when he said was that sometimes he works out and he feels like his left arm is doing all the work and his right arm's not really doing anything. This clearly shows that his right arm is actually exerting itself and will grow stronger over time. So the second assistive device that we made was the BioJack. And essentially it's 2 fixed points, 2 brace points, one on the bicep, one on the forearm, and a resistive band on the back. And what that does is when his arm is bent, the band's tension naturally helps straighten out his arm, so that's improving the range of motion that he talked about. The second thing that does is that when the arm is straight and he brings it in, it's actually resisting his motion in, so it's serving a dual purpose here. It's actually also helping him, even if he didn't have a weight, he could be at home and he could be just doing curls by themselves, and that's actually providing a workout in and of itself. So moving forward, we think that this is oh yes, and here's a small video presentation showing the improved range of motion. And then moving forward, we think that this could be huge for physical therapy. One thing we would like to do is we would like to make these parts customizable, so you could just 3D print them and they could fit to any person with any need as far as muscle size or body. And additionally, we would like to make the resistive band on the back actually be an actuator with a coil. The Myo bracelets, we didn't get to show it up here, but we had a live visualization that shows that we can actually get the data from these in real time. What we would want is we would want the data to be sent from the Myo bracelet to the actuator on the back, and that could increase or decrease the tension depending on the needs of the physical therapist and their patient. And that's our team. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Team 2. So as Mike said, all of our teams did incredible work over the last few days, but in the interest of saving time, we're gonna have 10 presentations today. You were able to see the other teams and all of the teams upstairs in the presentation before, and they're all here also to answer questions afterwards. But the teams will be presenting, so everyone can get ready, are Team 2, who we just saw, Team 4, Team 5, Team 7, Team 8, 9, Team 12, Team 15, 16, and 17. So I'd like to invite up Team 4, a manual wheelchair that can be propelled by methods other than an arm or a hand. A 6-year-old knee knower with cerebral palsy has limited mobility in his arms and hands. The challenge is to create a fun mobility chair which utilizes alternate self-mobility devices like pedals which will strengthen legs.
So, good afternoon, everyone. We are Team 4, and the challenge we are facing is how to build a foldable, lightweight, cheap and safe wheelchair that will enable Ryan, where is Ryan? Ryan, will enable Ryan to move independently. Right now, Ryan has electric wheelchair, but it's very heavy, and his mother cannot move into her trunk. He's using either the school bus or a special van that equipped for wheelchairs. And we decided that we want to build a device that enables individual mobility and independent mobility for Ryan and help his mother fold the wheelchair into her trunk. So the prototype is very simple. We took a stroller, a hoverboard, and a joystick, connect them together. All of them are off-the-shelf, very accessible elements that anyone can build regardless the size of the kit. The big challenge was to hack the hoverboard, which, as you know, is not typically connected to a stroller. We spent 3 days learning how to fry a hoverboard. We become very good at it, and eventually we sniff the original protocol. We're able to replace it with something that is working. The final contraption is something like that. That's the test drive. And as you can see, there is a little bit to be desired in terms of safety, so we are not going to ask Ryan to be the test pilot. Instead, I have a volunteer. Can I have a volunteer to drive the wheelchair? Thank you. That is mother approved. Thank you. And as you see, Tal is the one that's standing behind the wheelchair and letting Gil drive the wheelchair. I wonder why.
Directly off stage.
Yes, directly off stage. Can you hold the one? Okay. Okay. Now it's booting. It's usually In these cases, I'm explaining that it's a real product and not a demo, because it's that kind of stuff never happened to demos before. Just for real products. Are we good or not? Okay, Gil?
Okay, wait.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Team 4. Team 5. Lightweight oxygen tank carrier, including stair use. Individuals with pulmonary diseases who are dependent on oxygen supplements need to carry around an oxygen tank. The tanks are heavy and difficult to carry around for individuals. Challenge is to create an easy, light, and safe way to tow an oxygen tank while out and about.
Okay. Ready? Hi guys, this is Roberta, and we are Robertas Rollers. And so Roberta has advanced emphysema, and as you can see, she has to carry around a heavy oxygen tank, and she also has a walker, and believe it or not, she lives in a 4-story walk-up in in Brooklyn, excuse me. So the big challenge that we wanted to solve for Roberta was helping her get up the stairs and also through the 2 very heavy doors in her building. So with the original walker, each step was kind of a struggle, and it went ka-clunk, ka-clunk, and she had to lift the walker up each step. And then the 2 doors at the top, excuse me, and the 2 doors, once you got to the top of the stoop, were extremely heavy because it's an old building, and there was a lot of weight, especially even without the walker, but especially with the walker, it was very challenging to get through. So what we designed is this 3-wheel attachment for her walker, and the way it works is when it hits the step, it engages those 3 wheels so it can actually climb up the steps, so she doesn't need to lift it, and it glides very easily up the steps when she just rolls backwards, which is how she goes up the steps. And that's why we called it the stair glider. And then when she gets to the top, we designed the door caddy, which I just broke. I didn't break it, I'm just kidding, it's this attachment, it's good. And basically, it rotates and it extends so she can put it in the carriage of her walker or throw it in the bag. And when she gets to the front door, she can just put it in and it holds in place. She could go easily through with her walker. And then once her walker's through, she could leave it, come back, push the door slightly without bending over, and this folds up very nicely. This is actually just something we hacked together, but the finished design is gonna look more like this, and it's a really beautiful flower design that works in every direction. We had some problems with the 3D printer, so the finished product is printing as we speak. So these are Roberta's rollers, and really Roberta has been amazing. Luckily, she lives 5 minutes away from here, so we were able to go back and forth a lot, and she gave a lot of feedback, and every time we went there with a new prototype, she would give feedback, we'd watch her use it, and then we'd come back here to reiterate. What do you think, Roberta?
I think this has solved my problem. Originally, it was designed around the oxygen tank, but that really wasn't the problem. The problem was getting this walker with the oxygen tank in it up my stoop. And when we redefined it and we went up the stoop, that was the challenge. And this solved the challenge. This glides up the steps. You can't imagine. What's so fabulous about this is that when you're walking on the flat, it's just the same as the roller, the brakes work. These steps are higher than the steps on the flat, so they naturally engage the steps. It's like they climb up the steps. And this has, oh, you have 1 minute.
I was trying to get this video. The video was supposed to be in the presentation, but a little technical difficulty, but we want to show you the stair glider in action. So, Wi-Fi willing. What's the clock?
All right, here we go. Okay, here it goes.
And what's great is there's really so many applications for both products. When people have a stroller, they can use the attachment and use this. So there's a lot of great applications, and really happy that we were able to help Roberta.
Shopping carts, rollers.
Thank you.
There you go, yeah. Live demo.
It's fabulous.
Thanks so much. Team 7, Ringling. Children with disabilities often have fingers with atypical posturing. A child's finger joints may appear to bend backwards. When fingers are held in better alignment, children can have better use of their hands. The challenge was to develop ring splints in custom sizes, colors, and shapes for all children with different disabilities.
Hi everyone. Okay, we're Team 7, and our challenge is ring splints. What is a ring splint? I'm so glad you asked. So Julie here, our need know, wave. She's an occupational therapist, and she taught us about her work. She works with all kinds of patients, but particularly children who have neuromuscular disorders that might cause them to hyperextend their fingers involuntarily. Besides being painful in the long run, this could result in permanent loss of functionality if the fingers become stuck in this position. There is a standard therapy, which are these ring splints, which are available. They allow mobility and use of motor functions, but prevent hyperextension of these joints. There are some problems, however. with the existing product, as you might guess. These are highly customizable on the left. So for children, you can get the right size, the right fitting, but they cost like $250 a piece. And imagine you have 10 fingers and maybe multiple joints on a finger needing a splint, and you lose them, or you step on them, or you just don't like the color of them. It's really hard to figure out how to get this therapy, how to help your child follow through with this therapy. On the other hand, on the right, we have splints which are available for a low cost, but not customizable, and generally don't fit the children that Julie's working with. So what to do? Customizable, affordable, both. So that's where we come in. And our challenge was to design and build software that would enable patients, therapists, and their caregivers to easily and cost-effectively 3D print these ring splints. As a team, we started with a lot of ideas, but we pared down and we figured, what is the minimum viable product that Julie could walk away with, that would work for her? We decided this needs to be public-facing. We wanted to host it on a website so that anybody anywhere could use this. Her patients at home could figure out how to do this on their own. And on this website, they need to be able to input measurements that they can get from these industry standard sizers, and then get back an STL file that they can then use to 3D print the splints. So over the course of the weekend, we underwent a whole lot of prototyping. We developed multiple approaches to modeling the geometry, parametrically, mathematically, a bunch of different ways. We did a whole lot of test prints to figure out if what we were getting was adequate for Julie's purposes and for her patients. And at the same time, on the other side, our team was working on developing and conceptualizing a user journey and UI that for a minimum viable product would make this possible and easy, even for users who might not be computer savvy, of which there might be many. Which brings us to ringling.org. It's live, you can go there now, it works. In fact, let's do it. Okay, so you get to ringling.org. There's some instructions if you don't know how to use the sizers or what have you, but you can go ahead and name your splint. This might be Julie's right index, and maybe her sizes were really different because she has some kind of knuckle deformity or something. We can go ahead and make sure it looks like what we want it to look like. But she needs another splint too, of course. And put in some sizes here. We got that one. We can keep going for as many splints as we need, and then we can download them all. We've got some STL files on our computer. So from here, we can try on our splints, and users can print customizable ring splints in material and color of their choices with their 3D printing services. So what's next? We'd like to research various material and structural options for durability and cost. And long term, we'd like to see this become a full service website from soup to nuts. You can order your splints here, you can save your login information, come back, reorder them later, and change colors, patterns, whatever. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Team 7. I'd like to invite up Team 8, Customizable Support Chair. Many children with disabilities do not have the motor control to independently sit upright. When provided with a chair with sufficient support, they're able to use their eyes and hands for learning and play. This team's challenge was to create a customizable preschool chair providing optimal posture support for a child living with disabilities.
Yes.
The child that we represent is a 2.5-year-old delightful young girl who was recently diagnosed with Rett syndrome, which is a genetic neurological disorder which affects her muscle control in her body. She's very vibrant. She's got a wonderful spirit. She's learning how to use an eye gaze system, which is using eye gaze to access the computer for communication needs. She's also in a classroom setting where she interacts with her other classmates, and she goes to her therapies during the day, such as OT and speech therapy and physical therapy. The challenge was to design a preschool seat that would bring her at the level of her classmates and give her ultimate support so that she could function better, not only in interacting with her classmates, but using this eye gaze system, because her muscle control is such that from day to day is very variable. The neurological condition that she has makes her muscles less functional in many ways, makes her a little weaker. So some days she can do certain things and some days she can't. This challenge that we were looking at was to provide her with a seating system that was very stable, would stabilize her pelvis, her trunk, and allow her head to be stable. It would also give her tilt mechanism so that from day to day, if she needed to be tilted back a little because she wasn't in as good control of her body, she could be easily tilted within a classroom setting or within any of her therapy sessions, so that she could better use her body to interact with her classmates, her teachers, and her therapists, whether she's using an eye gaze system for communication or looking at a book in classroom when the teacher is reading.
So, is this on? So we started with the chair, we saw earlier, and we came up with this design to our behind me. We were looking for tilt, function, which was primary, something that was lightweight and transportable. And we were also wondering how the chair might grow with her as she grew. So you can see, as you can see in the front, it's being demonstrated that the chair moves in all kinds of directions with or without fall. We have about 8 or 9 areas of change, and any one of the parameters can be changed for a daily need, such as tilting, or comfort, or needing more support. And as we were told, her condition can change hour to hour. So, So we wanted to be able to move the child around through the hallways, which was key for the caregivers and for the child. And another thing that happens is she is able to participate in social gatherings with her friends, is now her eye level is down at their level. So she is no longer up higher than them and is able to be a part of the conversation. So let me show you some of the features. The head moves up and down, rotates. The sides, this is supporting her under her arms. This is specifically rounded so she can't lean on it. I don't know if you can actually see this. The lower area is given to supporting your pelvis, which is key for someone like this. The pelvis has to be kept at a certain angle. The tilting mechanism
Thank you so much, Team 8. Team 9, the Ovid Therapeutics head thrust stopper for Angelman syndrome. Allie Favor is 11 years old and has a tendency to thrust her head backwards when walking, causing both herself and her caregiver behind her to lose balance. This will also occur when she is using a walker. This team's challenge was to create a head support unit to keep her from thrusting her head backwards.
Hello, we are Team 9. My name is Tyra.
Sam. I'm Ben. And this is Ori.
I am here. Hi, so we're Team 9, and we had the pleasure to work with Allie these past few days. And so I'm going to hand it over to Ben, who's going to talk about some things we worked on this week.
So the two challenges that we addressed were primarily creating a structure that would support her back and upper head, so she would be able to walk without losing her balance due to spontaneous head thrust backwards. And the second was to build a mechanical device that would allow her to hold cups that she would lose grip of if her arms would move back and forth very quickly.
Alright, so our first prototype, just kind of a proof of concept, was to use a wooden board, and we strapped it onto her back, and it supported her neck pretty well. But obviously it was a wooden board, so that wasn't going to really work. Now, our final prototype was a very similar design, except this time we used 3 sheets of aluminum, covered it with 3 types of foam, and then wrapped the entire thing and sewed it up. It's very adjustable, and we're going to show you how it works on me, because I'm small.
So as you can see, by our final prototype, we were able to build a system that uses minimal attachment points and is also able to securely fasten the entire system to his head, allowing for a rigid point around his neck, which is the most critical point for the stability.
And then the second thing that we had to work on was basically attaching something to a mug or a sippy cup that Allie's able to drink with, but while she's drinking with it, she can't jolt and throw it away because she has a tendency to just throw the sippy cup away. So basically what we did was we have 3 different models, 3 different materials, 3 different colors because her favorite color is purple. And basically this is the inside of it, and it has friction to make it not move. And then there's a patch right here so that you literally can't throw it away. And then this is Allie using the second model device, the second prototype, which is the backpack which we didn't show you.
So through this test run, we actually noticed that we had to let go of the bag. It had to go adios. Another thing that we have noticed is the adjustments for the caregiver. For the caregiver and also for the need knower. So for future expectations, our group was really interested in the sippy cup holders. So we actually ran into another family at this event, and they also faced similar issue where the son will throw the cup, and that's a natural tendency whenever you get a kid, so you don't want to throw it. So we are hoping to make this adjustable and versatile. So we're going to have a Velcro strap that will connect to their arm here, and you can make that adjustable to the size of the cup and to the child's wrist. So we're looking to make it easily reproducible and adaptable to everyone, cheap and accessible for everyone. And that's our team. And we'd like to thank Alvin, Ellie, and Jonathan. You guys have been great hosts. And the family, most importantly, Allie. She was an amazing sport through it all.
Thank you so much. I'd like to invite up Team 12. Team 12 one-button remote. A quadriplegic maker and knee knower is looking to create a one-button remote. The buttons on a standard remote are too close together, and changing channels is difficult without pressing more than one button. Team 12.
Hello, everybody. My name is Luke Simmons. This is Bob Paradiso, and one other member of our team, Vera Taha, couldn't be here right now. And our knee knower is Dwight, and he's also a maker, so he's been a big member of our team. So as we discussed, we're working with Dwight, who is quadriplegic, so he has lack of fine motor control in his fingers, but he still wants to be able to use a TV remote like the rest of us can. So we were designing something that he had recommended, which was a single button remote. So this one button has all the functionality of a normal universal remote. So our prototype is literally just one big red button, and when Dwight hits the button, as you see, it'll begin cycling through the functionality. So if you can hear, it's responding with an audio feedback. So when he hits the button, or he hits the button again, it then sends that signal out to the TV or whatever it's controlling, and creates that function. So if you want to turn on the TV, Dwight. So we have the TV set up over here. That is now turning on. So you can do anything from changing the channel, turning up the volume. And we really designed this remote to be universal. So right now it's also controlling a light over there. It can basically control any device that uses an infrared remote. And you simply program our device with that original remote. And then this, our new one-button remote, takes on the functionality of any other remote.
So it's really cool because in some ways, if you think about how many things have IR controls, it's your air conditioner, things like your TV, entertainment system, sometimes often your stereo, your radio, and any of these things, you can program the codes in. It's a learning remote. You just hold the original remote up to it, it learns the code, and then it basically mimics that remote. With a little setup, you now have a full menu of all these things you can do now with just one button.
So moving forward, we really designed this remote to be accessible by people with a wide variety of disabilities. So for Dwight, it was really necessary to have a big button, as you saw, that it's really easy for him to hit. We also included a switch port on the front, so you can plug in any type of button or anything that you want for someone that has a specific set of disabilities or issues that they want to be able to use this remote. We also included an LCD screen as well as audio response, so there's different ways to address visual impairedness or any other thing like that. So that's basically where we're heading, is being able to have this be something that even necessarily isn't for people with disabilities or someone who just wants it to be an easier remote instead of having to fiddle with all these millions of buttons on your, like, whatever remote you have. Makes sense? And I'd like to thank Dwight, because he's been a trooper through all this. He's been here just as long as all of us have, and he really has been a huge member of our team. Thank you.
I'd like to invite up Team 15. Team 15's challenge, AntiSlip Cane Tips and Cane Hanger. A 19-year-old knee knower ambulates using 2 canes. The canes have rubber tips, which are extremely slippery on wet surfaces. Rain, snow, or mop floors pose a big challenge. The team's challenge was to develop anti-slip cane tips and a hanger.
Hi there. My name's Rebecca. This is Ruben. This is Victor, and there is Sharon. Here comes our need knower, Rini. She has, as you can see, she needs to use canes every day, no matter what type of motion she's doing or wherever she's going. And we had two big challenges that we had to deal with, slippage and wearing out of tips and tips falling off. So as you can see in that image, these tips, they are not designed in a very, in a way that makes sense. They're flat for a motion that's moving kind of how we walk. And they're also made with concentric circles that trap air and trap water. So she will hydroplane. Unfortunately, she fell over this past weekend because of them. And this is really unsafe. It's a problem that faces so many people and different age groups and people with disabilities. So it's something that really needs to be dealt with. The second one is the fact that these clips, or these canes, fall everywhere when she's at a restaurant, she's at the library, she's at school, she's at home with her family, and we dealt with them for like 2 days, and it was so annoying. People trip over them, and we cause a hazard for other people. They have to be close enough for Rini so that she can get them and easily get back up. For the first challenge, I covered most of it, and Sharon also covered it. So the AntiSlip cane I designed was one that would have a part in the center that would actually connect into it, and you can see here it actually spirals into it to keep it on better. And also, I wanted it to mimic the movement or the design of a tire tread, and also kind of sneakers too. So if you go back to the last one, so we ended up with this one, which we'll show a video of in a second, but it mimics if anyone wants to touch these also after, I have a bunch of prints of them. So I made it more curved so that when it moves, it actually moves with the motion of a cane, which would make sense. And we printed one, luckily, in resin that's flexible. Then we had we had our expert MacGyver, Sharon, who was like, you know what, I want to do this for someone who can make it out of like trash. So he took an old tire, and it's actually the one, Rini, step up a little bit. It's the one that Rini has on her right cane. So if you step up. So it's curved on the bottom also. It's a cheaper way to make it. And this one would be manufacturable, but this one is like anyone in the middle of nowhere who has a chunk of wood and a tire can make that. And it's just, we are like so amazed by Sharon for designing that. Then there is the problem of the clip, and I'll let Victor talk about that for a few seconds.
Sure. So the second challenge was that we needed to design something for restaurants, social experiences for Rini. So these things are cumbersome, so you don't know where they are. People trip over them. So we have this clip here. We don't have that much time, and we designed something that can be almost like an accessory. So you put this in your pocket, you put this in your purse, and you basically have it, and it's not on the cane permanently, and you can just pop it on something like, let's say this is metal. Right here. So now I have a place for my cane. If you don't mind. Thank you. Just going to slide this down. We actually never got to glue this on, so now she can just have a place to put that, and she doesn't have to worry about people
Just to quickly show you. Oh, there's Rini. This is Rini using the one that I designed that is rounded at the bottom and based off the tire tread and shoe pattern. So.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'd like to invite up Team 16. Team 16 worked on a software application to help match young people living with disabilities to positions which will highlight their strengths and adjust their needs.
Team Breakthrough. So our challenge is workplace independence. Over the weekend, we worked with a group of high school students from a special education high school in Roosevelt Island. The thing that we keep hearing is when we're trying to find a job, I don't know where to start. Like there are all the jobs out there. I don't know which one I'm good at. I don't know which one fits me. So the question that we ask ourselves is, how do we match youth with disabilities to positions that highlights their strengths and address their needs? So if we start with the right job, then they will have a better chance to succeed being independent.
So at this point you might be asking sort of why or how we're different from the million other job types out there. And I think it really comes down to the fact that what we're doing is using a Watson-powered chatbot that asks natural and approachable questions. So this really is different from a search in the sense that when you ask specific questions, it's a lot easier to come up with the attributes that we want to look for in a job, as opposed to saying, what do you like to do, or what would you like your job to be? The second thing is really that a lot of these students are always asked things like, you know, what are you bad at, or what's challenging for you, what's your disability, and we really chose to focus on the positive side here to be able to highlight their strengths and what they like to do.
So another factor is economical. In order to have insightful job matching, we usually hire highly trained coaches, career coaches. But with chatbots, one software can benefit millions of people. The last one is comprehensive. So instead of talking to multiple people, doing multiple questionnaires, we pulled all the tools in one box. So you can go onto our platform and search matching these good jobs.
And how does this actually work? So the first part is we are taking this chatbot and through the conversation extract keywords that are relevant to several attributes like how social they like to be, are they detail-oriented, and do they like a leadership role, things like that. On the other end, we're finding those same attributes in the jobs that we're scraping from sites like Indeed and Getting Hired. In this demo here, we're using just Indeed. And in the middle, we have our scoring algorithm. So what it does is it takes the attributes that we've gotten from students in conversation and from the various job postings, and it calculates the best score and gives them recommendations back, feeds it back into the conversation and allows them to do that. So let's get an idea of how this actually works. We have Alton, who's one of the students from a high school in Roosevelt Island, and she will be doing the demo here. It might be a little small, but what you can see here is it's going to ask various questions that are easier to answer and are more approachable. And this is really, really important in the need nodes that we work with. And they say that it's hard to answer just broad questions like, what do you want in your job? Or what kind of career do you want? And oftentimes they don't know. And by teasing these answers out through specific questions, we get a better idea of what they
truly, would be happy doing.
So from this conversation, Watson's given some key words of things that she's saying that she likes and she dislikes.
Cool. So I think right now we've gotten enough questions, and we can try to see what happens when it actually does the search. Great. So this is one of the jobs that are recommended, and we can actually go back to the chat and say save, and it'll save its jobs, and it'll tell us that it's actually saved in her profile.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Team 16. I'd like to invite up Team 17, our last team for today. Team 17 worked on a software application to help Anthony reconnect with music as a means of communication and help him play music despite a lack of fine motor control. Team 17.
Hi everyone. Can you guys hear me? Hi everyone. Today, first I want to introduce you guys to one of the strongest, most optimistic and passionate person I've met in a while. His name is Anthony. 20 years ago, Anthony suffered from a stroke and was paralyzed on the right-hand side. However, when we were talking together, he's always talking about, I want to go up. I want to become a better version of myself than yesterday, than before. You see, Anthony is a photographer, he's a poet, and he's a painter. But he was also a jazz drummer. When we were talking with him about jazz drumming, that was the only time when we found him a little bit less upbeat than he was with other topics. And we realized that jazz is one of the extremely important things in his life, and physical limitations is preventing him from playing drums right now. So we asked this question: how might we communicate, how might we help Anthony, the musician, to communicate using jazz again? And how might we bring the musician in Anthony back one step at a time? And perhaps maybe we can use music, and in this case, jazz music, jazz drumming, as a physical therapy tool. So we looked a little further. There are about 500,000 Americans who are paralyzed who are musicians. Like Anthony, with different conditions, they lost an extremely important way of communicating with others. Additionally, around 5.6 million paralyzed patients, musical therapy has proven to be extremely efficient in helping people motivate them to use their muscles, as well as help them take the thoughts out of their head. So with that, we're introducing a beat. A beat is a virtual jazz drum set, and it's powered by one hand movement. Now it's demo time.
So we're just trying to get a screen share so that you can see what's going on in the user interface. So this is, is this full screen?
Full small screen.
Alright, so the logo's at the top, but I'll open it. And then basically it looks like this when it opens. So you can see the whole screen. Just take it to the back. Okay, so this is what the screen looks like when you open it. So basically how you activate this is you can shake it in different directions. And then and then also you can have like a bass line, so you can beat, because you only have one hand, so you can have like a bass sound to go off of, and then build off of that. And then for starters, we also have a tutorial. If you click on the tutorial, it'll tell you exactly like how to shake it to get which sounds. And there's 3 pages, and they each have their own respective sounds. And then we also have a record button that is currently in progress that will record and stop recording. So you can save your recordings in your SD card.
So this is the first time that Anthony is playing with our jazz, our upbeat.
This one?
Yeah.
Could you up and down side?
First time.
It's all the way up on your phone, but we can increase the volume.
So as you can see here, Anthony got the hang of it after a few tries. Just like any other musical instrument, and we are in the future thinking about putting it into different platforms and other instruments. And here's our team, a very musical team.
That's why it took me years.
How inspiring, right? So I see that our judges are already heading out to their deliberation room to go ahead and have a little powwow. So now that you've seen the final results of what we've been up to for the last 3 days, we want to share with you guys a little bit about our process and actually give you a little bit of a taste of what we've been experiencing over the last 3 days. So we have a short video clip.
Focusing on animal themes. This is a really winning formula. You can see how people are forming into groups and working, giving so much energy and thought. The moment you are meeting their need node, and they are realizing that there is a really true meaning to what they're doing, and you can see immediate results.
We have about 18 teams at the Cornell Makeathon Hackathon here in Brooklyn at the New Labs. And this is the first time we're partnering with the hackathon at the same time. So it's almost like we have 2 events in one, which is really exciting. We're really seeing that people really want to use their tech skills for good and for a good cause.
The energy of what's happening here it's indescribable unless you're actually here and you're seeing it and feeling it.
The partnership with Cornell has been a long time coming. I remember the first conversations happened over a year ago. So we really wanted to work with Cornell for a long time. We're thrilled that it's finally happening.
The partners for today's event came together in a serendipitous way to some extent. We connected with the Tika Olin makers
to a student who had been doing a learning experience in Israel, and from that had identified this organization and taken an interest in it, and brought back to us the idea of bringing in a speaker from this organization. So that's how we met the Tom group. I think one of the most amazing things about an event like this is when you see students from all the different colleges come together on a really diversified team and come up with some really amazing solutions.
I want to thank all of our participants for joining us, for taking time out of their lives to spend 3 days with us, for giving us their time, their skills, expertise, and for trusting us to help navigate that in the right way.
I would like to say that after everyone's gone through this Hackathon Makeathon, that they should think of it as only the beginning. That they should take away from this, we can do this again.
I hope that it was fun and interesting, and I also hope that you come away with a greater appreciation of how you can use your talents to serve individuals with disabilities, but just the general public in a way that binds us all together.
So as I mentioned before, I'm based in Israel and I'm the director of Tom Global. Myself, along with my colleague, Roni Sendik-Shoam, are here representing our Israel-based Tom team and our global movement of volunteers, partners, and supporters. Tom stands for Tikkun Olam Makers. Tikkun Olam is Hebrew for changing the world, and this is one of our guiding principles. Tom has a very simple goal. We want to impact the lives of 250 million people around the world over the next decade. We're now almost 3 years in, and I really think we can say we're on the right track. Since we started, we've had Tom Makeathons in countries all around the world, including different places here in the US, in Israel, in Argentina, in Canada, Brazil, Vietnam, Australia, and now here in New York City, where we've wanted to come for a really long time. For me, my favorite part about Tom is the people. Seeing people from all different backgrounds work together and volunteer to make a difference is really inspiring for me. I also love seeing our global community mingling, collaborating, and meeting each other. We're so fortunate to have had several volunteers from our Israel and our Australian communities join us here this weekend. Tom was born out of two incredibly aspirational organizations. The Israel-based Re'ut Group, a nonprofit organization that focuses on societal innovation, and the ROI community of the Suzanne Philanthropic Network based in Israel and the US. The initial idea was simple. See how we can apply new technologies and technical skills to solve some of the world's most acute challenges. I'd like to invite Giddy Greenston, the president of the Re'ut Group, to share a bit on the vision of Tom and where we're going from here.
Thank you very much. So, it's a great, really honor and a pleasure to be here among friends. Odette will come up shortly and express our gratitude to all of our sponsors, but I want to mention the individuals that stepped forward over the last few months and help us carry this ball across the line. So there's Sarah Stenklar sitting here. There's the UK Family Foundation. There's Don. Yeah. There's John Metzner and Stan Ponte, who are not here. Mark Hager, who was here, he's not and left. Martin Rosenblum. UJA Federation of New York, for their sponsorship of the Demo Day. Jennifer Goldman. And then, I really want to express my heartfelt gratitude, since they're not really going to thank themselves, to Odette Shoya, Odette thought a few months ago that he was taking this on the side as a part-time thing, and I think ended up spending like 14 hours a day working on this, really on a dime. And then, so that was, yeah. So he'll come up in a moment, but I just want to say thank you to you. Another person I really want to thank is Michal, who's here. The background story is that the previous leader of TOM announced that he was stepping down in December, and then this whole weight of operation was thrown on her shoulders. This is an event, as I'll say in a moment, which is part of 5 major events we're having in the United States in the spring, including a major presentation in APAC. So that was 6 major events, not including what's happening in other places around the world. And Michal carried that ball across the line for us. So she's been amazing, way over and above anything people here have seen. Another person that deserves a shout out is Doris Schwartz. Where's Doris? Doris orchestrated this, back officing this operation. Anybody that knows what's been going on here understands that without Doris, this thing may have not happened at all. And the last person, so they've already thanked the TOM team, so I'm really grateful for that. And there's also David here who was handling PR and communications. And obviously all of the TOM leadership circle that came forward as lay leaders and helped us in tremendous ways, and all you participants, and the existing and hopefully future TOM communities that were part here. Australia was mentioned, but I also want to mention FSU, former Soviet Union, Latin America, where's Alejandro? Somewhere here, Chicago, Orange County coming up next week. So just in terms of these thank yous offer you a little bit of a glimpse of what's really unfolding in the context of this remarkable story called TOM. Because the people here in this room are now part of a growing American movement. We have had this spring 5 events: UC Berkeley, Schechter Westchester, now in New York, next week in Chicago Northwestern, in Irvine with UCI. These events were made possible through the partnership with the Jim Joseph Foundation, which is based in the Bay Area. And the idea of their grant and their gift to us was to help to facilitate modeling and deploying TOM across the United States of America through the platforms of high schools and universities and colleges. So basically, this is part of a big experiment and a process where we're modeling our further deployment of this great vision across this great country. So you may want to think of yourself not just as TOM New York, but as the beachhead for the TOM movement here in America. I also want to say that all of you are now part of a global movement. So basically, what we saw here is people from New York, for the tri-state area, solving problems that came from the tri-state area. So this is seemingly like a local story. But the brilliance of TOM and the beauty of TOM is that these local stories and these local solutions to local problems are then turned global because we put them online. And every solution created here is actually made available and accessible to anybody else around the world that is struggling with similar problems. And just this weekend alone, there was a TOM event in Sofia, Bulgaria, and in the coming few weeks and months in Mexico, in Kazakhstan, in Portugal, and that's on the back of 19 other locations around the world. So what is next for the products that all of you have created? We're seeing here 17 products. First of all, these products will go online. The moment they're online, other people around the world can begin to develop them from the prototypes that you have created to products. We call these developer groups. And our vision includes dozens and dozens of developer groups working all over the world to turn these prototypes into products. Once these products are available, again, online, without anybody's intellectual property impeding on their distribution, they will be manufactured and distributed locally. And the way it's going to happen is through what we're calling the massive excess manufacturing capability that emerges in society. So what does that mean? Universities like Cornell and high schools are creating very, very powerful manufacturing capabilities. They're building these maker spaces, multi-million-dollar investments. And then there are students, and there are teachers, and there is community. So you have the machines, you have the people who can download these products and eventually distribute them in the communities. And that can happen anywhere around the country, this country, anywhere around the world, anywhere in Israel, and in any other place that joins the TOM movement. So we're really, really happy, and we're very hopeful about this, the vision and the future of this great project. And our next phase, God willing, beginning in September, we'll have year-round presence in the New York area. So that's the next phase here. I want to say a few words about the global vision. But before I say that, I want to actually go off script and say something very personal. Tonight begins what we call Yom HaShoah, which is Holocaust Remembrance Day, in which, the Jewish people, the state of Israel, we remember the 6 million people that were eliminated during the Second World War by Nazi Germany. So we should appreciate how special it is to live in a moment where our society and our people were basically the expandable element of humanity 70 years ago, and today we're in a position to potentially help millions of people. That transformation that happened in the lifetime of our parents and ourselves is truly remarkable. And the amazing thing about TOM is, it is an exceptional platform for coexistence. We have seen Muslims and Jews and Christians working together. We have seen people who are rich and poor, who are employers and employees, own businesses and work for and struggle in life. And we've seen all of these people collaborate in order to better humanity. And that's the beautiful thing about TOM. We are committed to improving the lives of many millions of people. We say 250 million people, and no one takes us seriously, but we're serious about that. And here is why we believe we can deliver that. The needs, as you know, are there, right? We've all seen it. Thousands and thousands of needs over here. The talent to address these problems is also there. There are thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of people, like the people sitting in this room, who are willing to give a fraction of their time. There is also a tremendous amount of unused manufacturing capability in society. Bring those three together, and you can imagine the millions of people whose lives are improved. The talent, the needs, the ability to manufacture. It's an amazing time, 21st century, that allows us to actually solve thousands and thousands of problems and deliver products to millions of people. So in 2 years, we have developed more than 200 prototypes, 21 events, 19 locations, 11 countries. So if this is the beginning, you can imagine how far we can go and how much we can achieve together. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Julie. Before I call on Oded, we actually have a last-minute addition. We have a surprise prize for our teams. John from IBM Watson has been with us the entire weekend, helping our teams, working with them, integrating Watson into the projects. And I'd like to invite John, who just this morning informed us he wants to also give a prize. So.
IBM Watson is really delighted to be sponsoring Tom and Cornell. I wanted to thank them for putting on some amazing events. I am certainly inspired by all the projects that were created this weekend. The makers should be incredibly proud of themselves. So thank you. So IBM wanted to award a prize to the best use of Watson as part of the hackathon that we sponsored. So we wanted to extend an award to Team 16 for their really fantastic. If you think about it, they took some cognitive capabilities with Watson and the cognitive services that are provided in the chatbot, in the natural language processing, in matching and solving a problem for the students that are looking or eager to enter the workforce. And so they married the right set of technology plus the need. We talked about those needs. And I think it creates something really special. So we're really delighted. We're going to give them a prize. We've got some Apple Beats wireless headsets for them. So well done, guys.
Thank you so much, John. So at Tom Global, we give the framework for the event, we give the tools and the materials, but the people on the ground are really the ones who make it happen. Here in New York, we had an incredible local leader. Odette Ferrer has been a member of our community since the very first Tom in Nazareth, Israel in June 2014, and we knew it was a no-brainer that he'd be the one to bring it to New York. I think we can all agree he did a pretty good job. Odette?
I'd like to share a few words on some of the incredible people, entities, and institutions who have made Tom New York reality. So I'll start with sponsors, to our sponsors and supporters: Ovid Therapeutics, the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities, the UJA Federations of New York, the Reut Group, the G. Joseph Foundation, MakerBot, IBM Watson, Blytheville Hospital, Clear Vision, Verizon, StrongArm. Thank you for enabling this event happen and for being with us every step of the way. Thank you very much. I would like to thank the new lab. David, thank you so much for having us here. Thanks for letting us discover the most inspiring makerspace we've ever had. It's been an amazing experience to use the space. Thanks, thank to Leaf for the workshop staff. Thank for the sharing the experience with us, to our makers, and for helping us to get the job done, no matter what time or hour of the day that was. Thanks for Adam for facilitating the team who were with us all night, and for all the new lab members. Special thanks to Stephanie. She's here? No. Thank you so much. Thank you to our partners, Cornell and Cornell Tech. Thank you so very much. Suzanne Greene, Dave Burr. There it is. Thank you so much. Thank you for working with us and for sparking this idea almost 2 years ago up in Ithaca with Tom team, who thought we would make it this far. Who would believe that? Thank you, James Swanson. Thank you, Niti Project from Cornell. Thank you so much. Thank you for your guidance, your help, your collaboration and involvement. Thanks for sharing your Chelsea space with us for the pre-Tom event. Thank you for the endless meetings. I can't wait to continue to work together on the Roosevelt Island new campus. Mentors. Throughout the last 3 days, we were honored to have mentors joining us from leading schools, institutions, and companies. Thank you for sharing your time, knowledge, and experience with us. You really inspired our teams and helped our team to excel. Thank you very much. Thanks some more. Participants, I have no words. This event is truly all about you. Thanks for showing up. You took vacations, days off from work. You gave up an entire weekend to come and try to improve someone's life. Thank you for that. To our Neednors, thank you for sharing your challenges. Thank you for trusting us. To you all, welcome to the Tom family. Special thanks to Tom New York City team. Please stand up. Please stand up. Good job. Thank you so much. And Amy Stewart, of course, the incredible Amy Stewart. Amy, she's the force of being reckoned with. You and your wonder team of Amy Stewart, they brought such a professionalism, commitment, and drive to this process. It's been a pleasure collaborating on this incredible and impactful event with you. Thank you so very much. No, we're ready. I think that we're not ready just yet. So there's a special team just there in the back. Could you please, the flying from Israel, Eli, Chagit, Lee, Jonathan, please. Thank you so much for coming. All the women for working around the clock. Judges are on their way.
Okay, here come our judges. All right. As our judges make their way back into the room, I'd like to invite them all up on stage.
I just want to state categorically that, and I'm speaking for all of us, that it was an honor to do this job and it really sucked. And hopefully you won't think that we sucked at it, but we were given what felt to you probably like 20 minutes, but to us like about 5 minutes to decide amongst so many great choices that are out there. So without further ado, we'll start off with the most feasible award. And it's team number 17, and that's the jazz. My guess is that the faster you come up to take the award, the faster we can get through this process. There you go. And there's probably a photographer. Take a picture of these lovely people.
Guys, everybody over here?
Congratulations. Excellent. Thank you so much. The most feasible means that we think it actually works. So, greatest reach goes to team number 5 for the walker. Please don't forget the walker. Please don't forget the walker, which is back there, because if it really works like you say it does, then how come you're not using it? What is this, chop liver?
Okay, I will.
Getting the award requires.
Hey guys, everybody over here? All right. Thank you.
Excellent. Now get out of here.
Congratulations.
I mean, congratulations. And best actress, oh no. Sorry. screwed up. Most innovative goes to team number 16 for the
Can you get closer? Guys, everybody over here? Over here? Thank you.
All right. Got it? All right. What's wrong with
So most adaptive goes to team number 4.
Make sure Ryan's up here.
Yep.
Come on, big guy, get up here. Hey, Ryan, you get front of the back. Ryan, you got anything? One second. Ryan, sit down.
I love the way it's taped together.
There we go. Yeah.
Everybody here? Right. All right, guys, everybody here? Everybody here? Thank you. All here.
And finally, most independent goes to team number 12 for the one-button remote.
Right. Guys over here? Over here? Thank you.
That was concludes the awards part of the ceremony, and Suzanne has a couple of keywords for us. Choice words.
My words are words of gratitude to all of you who have joined us for this amazing 3 days. 18 months ago, a student at Cornell University came to me and said, I had this really amazing experience in Israel that I'd like to educate you about at the Cornell campus, and brought Arnon's mirror from Tom Group to us, and our engineering students and some of our other students went wild, and I knew we had something very special. And I have to thank the Tom Group for embracing Cornell University as a partner in this, and my Cornell partners, Amy Stewart, who is the hackathon maven, and who helped us put together a hackathon with a makeathon for the first time for Cornell, Jane Swanson from Cornell Tech, and my colleague David Brewer, who helped us to find meet knowers, and Peter Quinn, our videographer, and Ann and Phil, our Insights video folks. I couldn't imagine a more remarkable team to work with. I hope that this will be the first of many collaborations on these types of events, and we look forward to having the help of each of you in making this a reality in many communities, but bring it back to New York for sure. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Suzanne. Thank you all for joining us and being a part of the Tom community. Thank you.
Students, those of you that are heading back to Ithaca, the bus, we have room and it's leaving at 5 o'clock and it's picking up right here, okay? So please be on it. Awesome, thank you.
5 o'clock bus to Ithaca. Front. Can we have the Tom New York team to the stage, please? Tom New York team.
So I'm not going to ease it yet.